Hey, how's everybody doing today? This is Dr. Joe Martin with the Warrior Mindset Podcast. And today I got a special guest, former military, U.S. Army veteran, and superstar extraordinaire, Chris Villalvazo. And he's been a buddy of mine for a good period of time too. He's been working out in my gym before. His whole family comes in for chiropractic treatment. So besides the gym and the fitness type of friendship that we have, he also comes in, and his family comes in as a chiropractic patient. But Chris, first let's shake your hand, bro. And I wanted to thank you very much for coming in. And I wanted to thank you, second of all, for your service and the mindset podcast that we have, the Warrior Mindset Podcast we have, is basically just to introduce different walks of life of people. And we've talked about different times with some of the podcasts we've done in the future. It doesn't necessarily mean that somebody has to be a warrior that is a veteran per se, but it's somebody that just is fighting along the way throughout their life, may have pitfalls and whatnot. But today we're here really to kind of get your story as a veteran, family member, how should I say this? A connoisseur of staying in shape, and I think the military hopefully had done that to you along the way. Try to. But Chris, just do me a favor and just kind of introduce yourself a little bit, and then we're just going to kind of have a conversation on how your life's going, bro.
I'm honored for you to have me out here.
Thank you very much.
I know you and my dad go a little way back.
Yeah.
He's told me a lot of stories about you back in the past. So
yeah,
it's awesome to be here. And about me though, I was born in Monterey, California, and then we moved to Fresno probably when I was about 6 or 7, and went to all the Clovis Unified schools, went to Buchanan High School, graduated from there. And
what year did you graduate?
2010. And then attempted the college here at Willow, Fresno City, working odd end jobs here and there, but I didn't really find my place with anything I was doing here in town, kind of just going downhill slowly. So I would say about 2.5 years after graduating high school, finally had that conversation with my dad, trying to get my butt in gear, because it was going to go nowhere.
Right.
Staying here because there just wasn't much to do. Didn't want to go to school. You only got not many options after that if you don't want to go to school or find a career.
I was in the same pattern. I was at high school, and you played sports as a kid.
I played sports.
Yeah, but like me, you weren't going to play college.
No, I think I knew that at a very young age. I mean,
me too.
I love sports, but I'm not the athlete.
So we have kind of similar paths in the sense that I was that high school guy. I tell people I was the B athlete. I wasn't the A athlete.
I was always good enough to make the team, but never start.
Yeah. So I was one of those guys too. Well, more football, wrestling, soccer, baseball.
I did football, wrestling, and then I didn't play baseball my last couple of years.
Okay.
But it was never heartbreaking for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly knew within myself that I'm not going to play college. I'm not. There's more to life after high school.
Yeah. And ironically, the high school you went to in the valley here, Buchanan High School.
Some of the best athletes ever. I mean, there's guys still playing sports these days.
Right out of high school. And you were playing during the year of a couple guys got drafted.
Oh yeah.
Around that time frame. 8 to 12 and 2008 to 2012.
Yeah.
So you played sports along the way too, and ironically, it was the same way. And I was one of those guys. Basically, for the most part, I didn't wait to 2 years. I went right in after high school because I was not going to college at the time.
I think if I would have left after high school, I would have been crushed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And that from that warrior mindset point of view, do you think you weren't ready?
I don't think I was mentally ready.
Wow.
I kind of got that whole party phase out of my system because joining the infantry, that's you're day in, day out. There's some rowdy weekends. I mean, you're wild, you're independent, you're on your own, you're living in the barracks,
right.
Especially if you're single.
Yeah.
You got to make sure your room's clean. At a formation in the morning, doing PT. Oh, yeah. And I think if I would have been a couple years younger, I probably, who knows, could have flunked out of there.
Failed out. Yeah, exactly. So you joined in 2012?
I left January of 13.
January 13.
So, and I did it's funny, I did the Join With Your Buddy program.
Oh, the buddy program.
And,
yes.
But they lost my paperwork. And so my buddy ended up leaving October of 2012 without me.
Oh.
But we ended up at the same duty station.
Dude, we never had this conversation. Like right now, we're like freaking parallel.
Yeah.
Because I did the same thing. And ironically, back when dinosaurs were on the earth, they had the buddy plan too when I joined. And I did the same thing. And a buddy of mine were joining at the same time. He was the one that kind of pushed me in the military because I really didn't have a direction.
Yeah.
So into the Navy, he was going in. He said, we're going into the buddy program. So over the summer, we're goofing around, wrestling around. And we wound up, just wrestling around. I dislocated his shoulder. And we didn't live in the same town. So all of a sudden, I ship off to boot camp, and the dude's nowhere to be found. and back then is before all the internet and the cell phones, and you get this letter sent to you, handwritten. It says, "Hey, bro, guess what? I missed it by a couple of months." So he was in they call it like a sister company in boot camp. You have another company that kind of goes with you along the way.
Yeah.
He was in my sister company. We met along the way, but we never hooked up again ever. You same thing?
No, actually, so he was Fort Campbell a few months before I got there, and when the day I graduated, I got my phone back, called him, and told him where I was going. He was in 2nd Brigade, and I was going to 3rd Brigade.
Oh,
and all he told me was good luck.
Yeah.
He was like, you're going. I was going to the Rockassans. That was the name of the brigade.
Oh, check.
It was 3rd Brigade, the 187th Infantry Regiment, and he said, "Good luck. Smokings are never going to end."
Yeah. Oh,
and I remember I was terrified because basic training wasn't that tough.
no. People don't realize that, and obviously the Navy's way not complicated. The Army puts you through at least something different. Marine Corps a lot more.
Yeah, it's 16 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, you're there with a bunch of strangers. I mean, probably 100-something people in the bay. Using the same 5 toilets, 5 showers. Of course, there's some drama.
Yeah.
But the physical events, they were never tough. And that's when you start seeing people, trying to quit.
Mm-hmm.
I specifically remember after the initial day, when we finally did all the in-processing and you get picked up on the buses to go to your actual basic training.
Right.
They did that whole shark attack. They stack all your duffel bags up and they throw the sim grenades off, and everyone's mass chaos running around the field. And at the end of it, there's people crying.
Oh, yeah.
Like physically just crying on the ground.
Like people don't realize that.
And
like grown ass man.
And they said, if you want to call home, come to the front right now. And so I think 6, 7 guys ran up there, and they said, "Call home." These guys are up at the front. Oh,
Yeah.
just yelling home at the front.
Yeah, just
crying.
call home. Yeah.
And it was insane to me because I was expecting.
Because you can't get out.
No,
You can't be.
you're done. You're just they'll just recycle you.
Yeah.
You end up staying there longer.
You sign a contract. You know what I mean? Unless you're dishonorably discharged.
Yeah, and then it's crazy though. People hide out. You can hide out. They'll go to the sick halls and they end up being recycled. And I think eventually they probably end up dropping them. But
General discharge or something like that.
it's crazy. That's even an option. You volunteered for it.
Right. And then they kick
No
you
one
out.
forced you to join.
So right after boot camp, where'd you go to?
I went to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and I was there for all 6 years.
Right.
And,
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Probably that.
Did Fort Campbell did they have your own jump program there?
They had air assault school.
They had air assault school.
Air assault school. We had an NCO academy there for, to be a sergeant.
Yep.
And they had like the other schools like Rappel Master, Spies and Fries, just little schools like that.
Oh, okay.
But nothing like airborne school like Fort Benning.
Yeah. Because it was funny because back when I was in the SEAL team, when you got out of BUDS, a lot of the programs are totally different nowadays. You ship right out to Benning. So at the time, the SEAL team went through Fort Benning, which I thought was cool. You kind of intermix with the Army and to see how they work.
Yeah.
And things like that. But so we went to, and Fort Benning, still there.
Still there.
Still there. Yeah. Still there. And then, so once you finished your schooling and all that type of stuff, how long before because you went downrange twice?
I went around twice.
Twice.
So I got to Fort Campbell May of 13, right after boot camp. I didn't take any leave, just went straight to my unit. My unit was already deployed.
Oh, check.
They were coming back around end of July timeframe. So there's like a 60-day lull period. We were on Rear D with like 12 or 15 other privates and 2 sergeants.
And you're sweeping.
And we're sweeping, we're mopping, the whole 9 yards. It's just, it was like almost like basic, but now, they can get a little more physical with you as far as, keep you there, take away your time, your personal time, your lunch, the whole 9 yards. But it was cool. I got to meet, that's when I started meeting, more of my friends there at the time. And little did I know those people I met there would be lifelong friends to this day.
Yeah.
Still in contact with those guys, the guys I showed up with. And we all went to different infantry basic training units.
Right.
But, we all ended up the same place. But they got back around July of 2013. And my dad, he's a former Army guy too. He said, "Hey, if you want to separate yourself from everybody else, you need to go to the recon tryouts.
Right.
There's going to be recon tryouts. So I just, waited for that day. And then finally they said, "Hey, we're going to have HHC Scout Sniper recon tryouts." So I signed up, me and a couple of my buddies did. And they put us through like a 72-hour hell day.
Yeah.
Just running us around, road marches, skills test, PT test,
Sacking.
whole 9 yards. Nothing physical that we weren't already doing. So we were already in shape. So it was nothing to stress over. So we made that platoon.
And mentally, they're not really harassing. They just want to see physical if you're ready.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so I made it, and I spent my first year in the Army in that platoon and
Training.
And that was awesome because I got to see a different side of the infantry.
It's a little upper level.
Yeah. So we were going to the field 3 or 4 days before the whole, battalion would go to do the reconnaissance and stuff like that. And, it was tough. It was physically tough because we were carrying more gear,
Right.
heavier rucks to sustain ourselves longer. But those friendships I made with the other privates at that time, those are lifelong friends. Even as I progressed and moved on and we split up, we are still, joined together from that platoon.
Yeah, you can make a phone call any time, a drop of a hat. If somebody calls you up, you'd be flying out there to help them out.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And then the leaders I had in that platoon were hands down some of the best guys I've ever met in my entire life.
Yeah.
I still talk to one of my good friends, JT Evans. He was one of our sergeants. My staff sergeant, George, he was in charge of me. He was our squad leader. My platoon sergeant, it's funny, he ended up being my first sergeant in the next company I went to down the road. Just lifelong.
It just happenstance.
Yeah.
You get to hook up with them again.
And it was awesome because they were just awesome guys to work for. And you would bust your ass for guys like that.
Yeah.
Because they always took care of us.
So the podcast we got, the podcast Warrior Mindset. And, I know your dad for a lot of years. And do you think that your foundation, is that warrior mindset that you have as a young buck, as a kid growing up with your dad, playing, in a pretty competitive school district for sports and whatever? Like, where would you say, you would start your foundation on who those individuals were to kind of set your foundation as that giving you that warrior mindset?
It would definitely be my dad.
Mm-hmm.
He's a hard charger. He's very quiet. He always, he's very methodical when he talks. He's always observing everything.
Yeah.
And I would have to say it's him. And even things I look back at now with, if our room wasn't clean, the things he would do to us, nothing crazy,
No.
but at the time, just like
Flip your mattress.
flip my mattress, dump the drawers.
Yeah.
But,
You didn't think it was clean now. You thought it was clean before. Well, now it's not.
Exactly.
Start over.
Exactly. All the time.
Yeah.
And I was
Brothers and sisters?
Yeah. So my older brother's in the service currently.
Oh, okay.
And my younger sister's still in the service currently, both in the Army.
Oh, did they give you a hard time because you're out?
No, actually, I give them a hard time.
Did your older brother join after you did?
No, he joined in 2011.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. And he's done 3 tours. And then my sister, she
God bless
joined.
him.
Yeah, she joined, I believe, right around 2017, I believe. And she actually went to the place. She went to Fort Campbell. She got stationed there, and she's actually in the special operations community in 5th. She was in 5th group.
Oh, no way.
She's a supply.
Yeah.
But she's airborne.
Okay.
She's
airborne?
She's airborne qualified.
That's awesome.
She's deployed. She's been to Syria, I think Honduras. So
Yeah, a
now,
lot of stuff, 17, 18, you start to kind of diminish on
now she's
how
in
much.
she's in 7th group now in Florida.
So what's your rank right now?
She's a sergeant. I think she's promotable too.
Oh, she is.
And my
What about
brother, he's a
your
sergeant
brother?
first class.
He
He's
is.
promotable too as well. So
Are they planning on staying in?
my brother for sure. My sister, I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't see why not. They're both really successful right now.
Yeah. Now, what's your brother doing? So your sister's
He's
supply.
he's an infantry platoon sergeant right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Nice.
he's actually in my old battalion right now.
As a platoon sergeant.
At Fort Campbell now. So he's done all his training time,
Yeah.
RI time, and now he's a platoon
Well, he gets
sergeant.
one more. Yeah, he gets that other stripe. He's going to be start sit behind a desk.
Yeah, that's it now.
He's done. He's no more boots on the ground for him.
Babysitting at a bigger level.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, what do you think was your mindset when you got out of high school and spent 2 years and trying to, flounder through college and things like that?
I mean, at one point I thought I wanted to be a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I started working for Clovis Unified doing the special education.
And if you know him now, he definitely wouldn't be a good teacher. Yeah. Yes. Thank God he did the military service.
I was coaching elementary wrestling, elementary baseball. I mean, working at GB3, stacking weights.
Yeah.
Like a janitor.
Yeah.
Working at Dick's Sporting Goods. I mean, just odd end jobs. And but nothing to ever progress to another level. I mean, it was just literally to get by.
Well, it's funny because I tell people all the time, you did 6 years, I did 6 years. We both got out, and we'll get into your career right now, which is it's a pretty awesome career, especially in the Valley here. But we talk about that mindset, that warrior mindset, which then gives us a foundation of who we are. Then we get out of the service. I just chose we're both athletic guys. We both stay in shape. We're going to get into that later too. But I've always liked the physical aspect of what the military did for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it kind of put my goals towards, getting the education in exercise science, nutrition, then obviously the graduate school to the chiropractic. Do you think you've taken that physicality, this is where we get into our conversation, that physicality once you got out of the military?
At first, no.
At first, no?
At first, no.
Really?
I was
You're like, I'm done?
I was in like a honeymoon phase for a little bit. I was like, I'm over it. I'm done. No more listening to the man. And then gained some weight.
But you were we talked about this off camera a little bit.
Yeah.
May get on somehow along the way. But you were married before you went.
I got married after my first year in.
After your first year.
Yeah,
I got you.
And then I married Jacqueline.
Yep.
Which you've met Jacqueline before, and she came out after I got back from my first deployment. So we got married September of 2014. I deployed around Halloween of 2014.
And then she became accompanied.
Yeah. So she stayed here in the Valley, and then as I got back in July of 2015, she moved out there to Tennessee.
Right. And that's when you had your first son.
No,
a little bit after.
A year after that.
Because you were getting ready for deployment, correct?
No, I just gotten back.
You just gotten back.
For my first one.
On the first one.
Yeah.
How's that with deployed, because I was never married when I was in the teams and, I was a single guy and whatever.
So I would say my first deployment, children free, was no stress.
Yeah.
And it was 2014, Obama had kind of ended OEF right around December, and they moved to Resolute Support. So there wasn't really much going on.
Right.
I mean, we did patrols daily, nonstop, staying at the
But it wasn't like from the beginning.
No.
Its first 5 years.
No, it wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, at that deployment at all.
Yeah.
I mean, we were still, there was points where we were.
That was Iraq?
No, Afghanistan. Yeah. So, I mean, there were still points where, we were burning our own trash and, all that kind of stuff, living off the big bases, but nothing at the point where it was, life or death at that point. But as I got back, you kind of feel like you lose that sense of time for a little bit, because I was gone for 9 months.
Yeah.
And then you don't really realize the other life goes on without you for a little bit. And
when you're single, you don't think about that when you deploy.
And when you're married, it's like, you do think about that a lot. And then kind of feel like you want to play catch up because you've missed 9 months of everything else going on, but you'll never be able to catch up. And that took me a long time to realize that there are two different lives going on. You have what's going on in front of you right there overseas, day in, day out, because there's no weekends off.
No.
24 hours,
there. Yep.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all 9 months. And
did you have what was the sense that you had mentally within yourself when you were deployed, knowing that you had a son?
That was tough.
Yeah.
So my son was born October 27th, 2016, and I deployed about 6 days after that. And that was probably one of the hardest tests I've ever faced in my entire life.
Mentally.
Yeah, mentally.
Yeah.
Because there was another flight leaving like 2 weeks later, and it's not like.
But you was your guys.
It's not like you had a baby out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole brigade knows 9 months coming that who's having babies.
Yeah.
And I put me on the flight. I was going to leave 5 days after, and at that point we had came to the fact that I'm leaving. I will not be here for 9 months after.
Did the higher ups give you the opportunity for those extra 2 weeks?
No, no. Yeah. And it's funny too, because guys had babies overseas, like their wives were due, and they would fly them back for 2 weeks and then fly them right back out there. So I was hoping to at least get a week.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple. I mean, just
didn't happen.
No, first baby, and it didn't happen, and I cried like a baby. On the flight out.
Yeah. Hey man, it's and it's funny because your kids, they totally change you.
Oh yeah.
You have that first, that warrior mentality. You're no kids. You have a wife at the time, but it's different when you have a kid.
It is.
I'm telling you, man. I don't, wives and husbands are different.
And
when you have the kid.
I felt bad for her.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy, and I mean, snowing out there at that time. It's cold. We got one car. She's got the car. She has a great support system with her family. My dad, parents coming out there to see her, and she's going back and forth California and Tennessee. But we still have a mortgage. We still got bills. She had a job. She was doing real estate out there, and it was tough for me because I'm all the way across the country now, and I'm living through FaceTime calls and pictures and emails and Facebook updates, and that was hard.
Yeah.
And that deployment was first time I had seen combat. So that threw a whole nother ball in the mix at that point.
Because it's funny because you talk to some people at times when they think there's a husband and wife, but there's a big difference when there's a child. husband and wife. Oh, well, the wife can move on, and she can, or the husband can move on, or whatever the case may be with deployment.
Yeah.
When you got a kid, dude, it's your flesh and blood, and you're like, what
Oh,
are they
yeah.
gonna do without the dad or the mom? So probably had a lot of different things going through your head at the time.
Oh, at least the first, 8 days, I'm almost distraught. And I'm not letting anyone know either.
No, of course
At that point, I was a sergeant. I was a squad leader. I'm in charge of 9 guys.
Yeah.
And I'm in a platoon. So, it was tough. And I think our second week in country, we were already in our first firefight out there in Helmand, southern Afghanistan. And, all your stress and worries, it's right out the window at that point.
Have to.
Nothing. Yeah. There's
just thinking about your boys.
No, yeah, everyone to the left and the right, and that's it. And I needed that at that point in my life.
Kind of shook you out a little bit.
Yeah,
rebooted you, if you will.
Yes, gave me that wake up call, and
it doesn't push aside the fact that you still have a family.
No,
but what it does is it kind of then puts that delineation of line to go. Okay, I know my family's good, my baby's good, my wife's good. Everybody's going to take care of it. Now I got my guys.
Take care of myself and my guys.
And your guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that little shake of the rug, all of a sudden, then we were pretty much dialed in for the last couple of those months that you were deployed.
Oh yeah, so
pretty much squared away.
That was week 2. We were
wow.
we were in combat, and continued on that next 30 days. Every time our platoon was going out, little ticks here and there.
Happening. Yep.
Nothing long.
No.
10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, here and there.
Yeah.
And then
it's accumulation of stress.
It is.
You know what I mean?
And then after 30 days, they pulled us off patrols, and we went to tower guard.
Oh, check.
And that's 8 on, 8 off, 8 on, 8 off,
Yeah.
For 30 days. And then you're back in the patrol rotation again after that.
So like as a, platoon sergeant for yourself, how did you we get this warrior mindset, now you got your guys. When you're home, that warrior mindset is, how am I going to protect my family, protect my kids, future goals. When you're with your guys, and especially as a platoon sergeant, what's your mindset going on in yourself on a daily basis with making sure the boys are safe?
Overseas?
Yeah.
Shoot, man, constantly just making sure everyone is at peace with themselves, realistically.
Yeah.
Get as much ample time for the gym.
Mm.
There's not as much training going on overseas at that point. It's game time.
Oh, no, yeah.
We're still, you're still doing the little monotonous stuff like the layouts, the little army, the army drama here and there, but you want to give guys their personal time when we're not doing patrols or con ops or training, but give everyone, go watch a movie, go relax in your room for a little bit.
Did you try to, because you've been a fit guy, when obviously you said, when you're in the military, you're way more fit. When you were out, you took some time off from the fitness. But I mean, is that one of those things you try to get the guys?
Oh, yeah,
we're going to go hit the weights.
Yeah, we'd all hit the gym.
Yeah.
Almost the whole platoon would go. All 30 of us, and there'd be almost 90 guys in the gym working out together. And it's a big gym. We got a big clamshell tent, all the weights. Not missing anything at all.
No.
So it's good. And high testosterone. Everyone's around each other. Everyone's amped up. Everyone's facing the same problems.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone is a warrior at that point.
Yeah.
But it's almost like silent because everyone's got their own personal drama going on, but no one's crying to each other about it. I would talk to my own buddies, like the other squad leaders. We'd conform with each other, and this and that, but you never bitch down.
Go down.
You can gripe up.
Yep, exactly. Shit just rolls downhill.
Yeah.
Just gripe up a little bit. So you get done with your 6 years and things like that. What made you decide to kind of punch out?
Well, yes, but I came down on orders to be a drill sergeant.
No way.
And so I was excited about that. But the orders for Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and that would have been for I think for engineer. It's for engineer basic training, something like that. I wanted to go to Fort Benning. I was like, if I would be a drill sergeant, I'll go to Fort Benning. That sounds good to me. Called branch, and they said no. All we have is Oklahoma available. Well, at that point, I could either sign a deck statement, decline the orders, and get out on my ETS date and not re-enlist.
Right.
Which at that point, it was probably gonna be my best option. So
and with that, it's kind of crazy. Like in the SEAL team, you just stay with the SEAL team.
Yeah.
I mean, every once in a while, if something rotates where you become a BUDS instructor, you can do. But for the most part, a lot of times you may rotate to a different SEAL team here and there, but it's still special ops. In your case, did you really have a choice?
Oh no, it's at that point I was a staff sergeant, and that's what the Army wants.
The Army gets.
They're gonna
totally
get.
Understand. Yeah.
And so I mean, I had tons of late night conversations with my wife, other guys I worked with on. I didn't know what to do. At that point, I was a little lost.
Yeah.
And because the Army was at that point all I knew.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna stay in forever.
Well, yeah, and that that E6,
And then you
you're
start hearing the
getting into middle management.
and then you hear the lifers. They're like, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do outside the army? You're just gonna come right back in a year later. You know what I mean? No one's on your side on that. Everyone wants you to stay in. So I ended up Jacqueline's grandfather offered me a job, and so we were dead set on getting out after that. So I rode my last 13 months and rode my contract out.
Yeah.
And then just left the battalion after that.
Back at Campbell.
Back at Campbell.
And now, for some of the people that don't really know the military sequences all the time, did they give you any crap for the last 13 months knowing that you're going to get out?
Well, it's my unit was leaving to Africa.
Oh, wow.
And so they were leaving about when I had 6 months left. And that kind of sucked too, because I no longer was a squad leader anymore.
Yep.
Still staff sergeant, but not a squad leader, not in charge of anybody. Someone else has to step into the job now.
Was that a 9-month?
They spent 9 months over there. Yeah. And that was tough. The guys left, and I helped them pack their bags, helped them, pack out and leave. And nothing, everyone was fine.
Oh, no, of course.
But that was tough for me because I didn't go, which is fine. I already had goals to do something else, and I was going to stick to that.
Well, and also too is when I talk to a lot of the military guys that have served, there's kind of like that brick and mortar concept. So you get that foundation of who you are, that mindset, from your families. You play sports as a kid. We're building that bottom layer. Then you do your military service. You get that mortar, and then another brick goes on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then that's done. And you're good with it. It looks clean. The lines are good, and you're good with yourself mentally and physically. And then all of a sudden you get out, and then your life changes and starts anew. Technically,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And coming back to Fresno, the Valley here, and your grandfather-in-law.
Yeah,
yeah, technically, and he offers you a job, and they have tons of property, farm like out here in the Central Valley. It's farming.
The almond pistachio farmers.
Is that the main thing?
Main.
Yeah.
And so that I don't know anything about farming when I get out here.
Yeah, but you're a staff sergeant.
So I can adapt.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, all you're doing is you get a different type of guys.
Yeah,
that you're in charge of.
And so my father-in-law showed me the ropes out there. My brother-in-law did too, and I've been working out here for 3 years now.
3 years now. Yeah, because I think I met you right after you got out.
Yeah, because I moved back.
Maybe right before you got, because I think I was treating your wife as a chiropractic patient.
Yeah, she moved back May of 19.
Yeah.
I didn't get on my actual leave until October of 19, and then my last day in the service was January,
20.
January 2020.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, you got out right during COVID.
Right before it all kicked off. Yeah.
Wow.
Which I'm very thankful about that, because I couldn't imagine being in the army during all that.
Yeah. I know with all these controversies going on right now with the COVID, the vaccination, and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. Don't want any part of any of that.
Yeah, no, any part of that. Yes. I'm right there with you. And we've had those conversations over the years, together too. But so then you finally get out and you have that brick and mortar foundation. You're kind of building it up, and then you have another baby.
Had another baby.
Yeah.
And I got to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And that was very special for me, because I had to learn, the whole late nights.
Right, because you were deployed there.
I didn't see any of it.
Yeah.
Making bottles, changing diapers, helping the wife out this time, and I was super stressed. For her, it was a cakewalk.
Yeah,
because she already been there. But for me, I was extremely stressed out.
Giving the army guy a hard time. What's the matter? You can get overseas in Afghanistan, and you can deal with all your platoon. You can't even handle a little girl.
Oh man, she rocks my world though.
Oh yeah, the girls are brutal, bro.
Yeah,
the girls. Your son's different. It's like when you have a son, it's totally different.
Oh, he's an
animal.
He's an animal.
Yeah.
He's way tougher than I was as a kid.
Yeah, exactly. And your daughter will probably be too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But so there's another thing, because that warrior mindset you have now. You go from a military individual, army guy, boots on the ground, proverbial shit hits the fan at time. Now you're coming home, and you technically dial it down a little bit, but there's a whole nother warrior mindset, raising kids and running huge thousands of acres of property and farms. It's like, how did you deal with that transition?
It took me a little while. I think I had some more personal issues going on with myself, battling my own demons.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out, almost your new identity.
Right.
And who.
Because you did those 6 years of every morning, everything is taken care of you the whole time.
You know what you're doing for the next 9 months. You know what you're doing for the next 12 months. There's a training calendar laid out. Mm-hmm. You know, with life, there's no training calendar.
Wait, your wife didn't give you a training calendar when you got out, and it's like, okay, the baby's changed from here. We got to give the bottles here. And
no.
no.
Yeah, it was a little tough for me. And then I think the biggest thing I guess I'm still missing out on sometimes is the camaraderie. You know, having the boys around. You know, the guys you can count on.
Right.
You know, anytime you want. You know, you don't have that really out here unless you meet people.
Yeah.
You know, that you
the
connect
same
with,
likeness. Right.
or that you trust.
Yeah.
You know, because that's a big thing, is trusting somebody.
You know, that's a really good point. And I think, you know, like from the audience point of view, that people are watching this, you know, we both hit the gym super hard. I hit the gym as an old guy. He hits it as a younger guy, you know, in a way. But there is that, you do get that little bit of, as former military guys, you do get a little bit of that camaraderie with the guys in the gym.
And I've actually I've been doing the little attempting the bodybuilding thing now for a little bit. And I've met a lot of people through it. And you know, they're good guys. Yeah. They're all good guys. They all want the same goal. They're all trying to better themselves. Yep. And that's how I want to, you know, surround myself around people that just want to better themselves. And
I think in the military, like, I'm just trying to, like, you saying those comments of like bettering themselves. I think for the most part, the time we spent in the military, most of the people we hung out with, you know, served with, I think, you know, you're obviously going to get your, you know, runt, the dirt bag and whatever.
Of course.
But just say 95% of the guys are guys you could hang out with most of the time.
Oh, I remember countless weekends we'd have huge barbecues and parties, and all the NCOs would come over to the house, and, you know, we'd party all night and all weekend. You know, everyone got along, wives, kids, you know, everybody. And
that is a big thing, because when I was working with that fitness company, TRX, and I traveled all over the world, you know, training the trainers, and as a doctor, I got the opportunity to go I've been to every single Wounded Warrior battalion, and, you know, hospital, and et cetera. Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I think we're just having the conversation as far as the camaraderie and the aspect. I think the guys, when they do separate, whether it's just their time is done or they get a military medical discharge and whatnot, that they miss the camaraderie.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Last year, my buddy got married up in Georgia, and so we flew back for it. And he was my old platoon sergeant, and then a couple of other squad leaders I worked with were there, a couple of other NCOs I worked with were there. And it'd been the first time we'd seen each other in about 2.5, 3 years, because we all, at that point, everyone was PCSing or ETSing, getting in and out, or moving somewhere else. It was the first time we were all together again in a couple of years. And by the end of the night, I think we're all fucking crying. A bunch of babies. I
miss you, bro.
Yeah, literally. I was like,
no, it's true.
I miss you, you know, stuff like that. And
but also too, is I think, you know, from that mental foundation and that mindset, you know, even from when we hear just the other day, you know, I heard of a former team guy that just, you know, passed away. You know, it was a health issue, heart attack and whatever. I mean, it wasn't terribly old guy and whatnot, but man, it just kind of tugs at the heartstrings, as if you will, and to let you know, like, I didn't know him personally. He was a lot younger than I was.
Yeah.
But you still, that camaraderie aspect. Anybody who's served and they lose their lives with, whether it's, you know, PTSD, whether it's, you know,
and you're seeing it all the time. It's not like once in a blue moon. It's daily.
Yeah.
It's sad. That's definitely tough.
And that's why I think when we have, you know, that's why I think having this podcast, just introducing myself to different warriors, if you will, whether in military or not, you know, you can sit down with these individuals and you're kind of pulling things out of each individual to where somebody could listen to the podcast and go, man, I can really relate to that. You know, how many guys right now are going to listen to this and go, man, I thought the same thing when I got out. I didn't think I'd have the camaraderie. I didn't think I'd have the boys that, you know, can hang out with. And, you know, I'm not saying you're getting hammered all the time, but just that camaraderie and have that where now you and I, you know, have become friendship with your family, and obviously I've known your dad before we got to meet each other, is you're starting to form those outside connections and that outside foundation, you know, where the fitness, like we both compete in the, I do the physique, the old guy category. I tell people the category I compete in, the cane carrying. You know, you got to carry a cane on the stage in order to compete. But there is that. Do you feel that you get a little bit of a sense of camaraderie with the gym folks that you hang out with?
Yeah, definitely now. And then I've met a handful of amazing people who've never served, but I bond with them too.
Oh my God, yeah.
Especially we have one family that we hang out with all the time, and our kids are the same age. And me, my buddy Riley, Casey's husband. Yeah. We hang out all the time. Yeah. And he's a woodworker. He does cabinets. And I mean, best guy I've ever met, hands down, out here. And we hang out all the time.
Yeah. So that's good. So, you know, when you get out, and I was thinking about it from a staff sergeant point of view, and now how many guys you run the crew wise on the farm, like with
Oh,
the
shoot.
pistachios and almonds?
During harvest, I mean, we almost have 65, 70 guys working
Yeah.
during those 2 months of harvest.
And does that bring you back from the stress of organization? Obviously, it's not battle by any stretch of the imagination, but does it give you that stress level of going, oh man, I remember back in the day when I had to organize all these guys to do this, this, and this?
Yeah, it gets up there pretty high. And it's funny because anytime I have an issue, the first person I call is my dad. Because I feel like I can always call him and get some advice from him. And the first thing is always says, if I say I'm stressing about this or that, he goes, why are you stressing? Who's shooting at you?
Yeah, exactly. He's got a good point.
What's stressful now?
Mm-hmm.
And it's true. I mean, this isn't hard. This day-to-day stuff is not hard. It's just keeping yourself busy. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah.
Not falling in a rut and then feeling sorry for yourself, turning that into a month problem, then a 3-month problem, then a year problem. And next thing you know, like, where's your life going at this point?
Right. Because you've stressed about it all the time. You're not living the life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just, as long as you just keep those little battles, winning those little victories daily, every day is a battle.
Yeah.
Just every day, winning the day, seizing the day, keep moving on. I feel like you can progress and get better.
Well, and we use it all the time. And I've said this on a couple of different podcasts is, we will have those times of trials and tribulations where we fall down.
Yeah.
Right. But as long as you're doing what? Getting back up one more time.
Yeah.
And also too is like in your career right now, work with a lot of farm workers and things of that nature. Is like there's always those stresses, like your dad was saying. What's the stress? Nobody's shooting at you. In the teams, we use the expression, "The only easy day was yesterday."
Yeah.
It's already done. It's already gone. Was it stressful yesterday? I'm sure it was, but today we got more things to do.
Yeah.
The wife, the kids, the equipment on the farm, and the employees, and all that type of stuff. That day's stresses you can't think about yesterday.
No.
So, but I mean, what do you think, like in the future, where do you see yourself as that foundation, as, that you got that warrior mindset, you got a family, is there goals and aspirations that you have right now, with your family?
We just want to stay healthy. Number one, continue to grow, ourselves personally, financially. And I would say just keep our marriage at what it's at right now. And every day you got to work on your marriage.
Oof.
And,
Yes.
And that's me and her, Jacqueline, we've always seen that, she's my best friend.
Yeah.
And we have to be eye to eye every day when we do things. You cannot not do that.
Yeah. And I think, the audience that listens to that, hopefully someone will take it to heart because, and it's kind of awesome to hear is like, when he says, oh my God, my wife's my best friend.
Yeah.
Which is the way it should be.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And where most people don't have that, and a lot of people, they struggle in relationships because, they have a lot of outside, influences.
And she's a hard charger.
Oof.
I mean, she's
if you met her,
she's in charge.
Yeah.
It may look like I steer the boat, but I hold the compass.
Yes, yes, dear, whatever you want me. I'll just, whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
What is that, happy wife?
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah. That's you're in right there.
Yeah. But no, I want to make sure our kids get more than we had growing up, which is hard to say because I had a great childhood.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I want to one up that, all the time. So I'm, making sure my kids are taken care of, doing things I never did growing up, which is, there's not a lot.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty much it though, is taking care of the family.
Did you hang out, like you and your dad hang out?
All the time.
Yeah.
Daily.
Like what was your hobbies like with him, and was it playing sports?
Oh yeah. He came to every single practice.
Yeah.
Every single game, everything. He was always there for us. There was never a point in my life my dad was not there for me.
Yeah.
Even throughout the military, he'd fly out there and see us all the time.
Yeah.
He
That's kind of cool.
still flies out and sees my brother and my sister and the whole 9 yards. And I just want to stay a family.
Now is he still in?
Police,
Or is
yeah.
He's still in. He's not retired.
No, he's still in.
He's got a little more time.
Yeah, he's a sergeant
Yeah.
over there for Fresno
Yeah,
PD.
I know. Yeah, no, we've known, gosh dang, probably known your dad 15 or more years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, easily. From back in the
And
day. Yeah, great guy.
Back to that camaraderie, the friendship. Recently, I went on a veteran hunt. There's an organization called Make a Difference Outdoors, and I got invited to go on a veteran hunt in Paso Robles. And so it was me and I think 6 or 7 other veterans, and they paid for our hotel, our tags.
What do you get out there at that time? Boar?
There's
Pig?
boar. I got to shoot a ram.
No way.
Yeah. It was awesome. We spent 2 days together out there, and it was a great experience. I'd never met any other guys out there except the people that run the organizations.
Right.
But the other veterans out there, it was awesome meeting these guys and hanging out with them. Went out, had dinner, had some drinks.
Is that a national event, or is that more in California?
I think it's California. It's not California nonprofit.
Yeah. But there's a lot of programs out there.
Yeah, there is.
You know what I mean? That former vets can get together. They do a lot of those programs with from the wounded warrior point of view.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it was an awesome experience.
awesome.
It's called Make a Difference Outdoors, and you can sign up too.
Yeah, and that's that whole warrior mindset. You're getting the guys and gals back together again. Where they can have that sense of camaraderie and that sense of security at times, and then you break and you do your own thing, and whatnot. What got you into, because we've known each other too from the working out and whatever. What got you into the like the physique, the bodybuilding, and stuff like that?
My wife.
She competed before you?
Yeah, she's been doing it since 2017.
Oh wow!
So she's been doing it.
Going 5 years.
And I never attempted it once. I just always helped her out, watched her, supported her. It's something she loved, and she just still loves. And I think she's currently in prep right now.
And she does a great job too.
Yeah. So it was her. She
drag your ass into it?
No. It was just my lack of motivation and watching her. Yeah. And I finally, I wanted to give it a shot. And it
was, we did the one together this past.
The Central California Championship.
September?
Yeah, September.
August? September. Yeah.
And I had a great time.
Yeah.
I had a great time. Everyone there was awesome.
Yeah.
All the competitors were nice. Everyone was super cool. It was just cool because you're just showcasing your work.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you've put into it, you're going to go showcase it that day. Win, lose, whatever. You want to win, of course, but just get up there and have a good time. And then we ended up doing another show about 3 weeks after that in San Francisco.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and you did just as good, right? Didn't you?
I won that one.
Yeah, we won that one.
And for the novice class.
Novice class. That's right.
And that was for me. That was awesome. That was a battle I won. So
it's kind of interesting with that because I too compete, and I'm not doing the bodybuilding. I'm doing the physique. I don't have the legs like you, but I kind of do it for myself.
Yeah, exactly.
But also too is myself personally, and I think you probably feel the same way because you're competing. If we go around and you're a veteran and introduce yourself as a former Army veteran, I don't know, like myself personally, because you probably know where I'm going with this. I personally feel if you're representing the military, even though you're out and you're a veteran, we still want to represent it proudly.
Yeah.
So I mean, you get an airborne guy coming in and, it's just me, and you're kind of, fat and out of shape. And I'm like, oh man, but you still, come on, and to see, to myself personally, because I'm still competing. I'm like, I tell people in the last couple of podcasts, I'm going to be 63 years old, but I don't think personally I could tell myself. And I was 6 years. I did 6 years in the military, most of that time in a SEAL team. I wasn't a 20-year guy either. I wasn't a combat guy because I was in from 78 to 84 and there really wasn't anything going on then.
Right.
But I'm still super proud. You're still super proud of your service. Now, you're a combat veteran also, so, my hat's off to you too. But you, in my opinion, you want to represent where you came from.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And that's that warrior mindset.
And I enjoy being regimented,
Mm-hmm.
Following the plans, that you're paying for. You're paying for a service if you have a coach. So, following the plans, following the diets, following the training plans, having that regiment and that structure in my life now, I think is what helps me day to day. Because, I enjoy it for my own benefit.
Do you think having a military service, I'm just thinking this off the top of my head, that it helps you prepare for, because people that do the bodybuilding, even the powerlifting, physique and whatever, man, it's not easy. Because you got to follow the meal plans, the workouts, the early morning cardio, and et cetera. Do you think the military helped you out with that?
I would say so.
Do you put a mindset into that? Hey, listen, it's not like getting up at 04.
No one's making me do it.
That's true now.
Yeah, you're choosing to do this.
Yeah.
You can choose to go eat McDonald's 3-4 times a week, or you can cook for yourself and be healthy. That's all it is, and be a little bit more healthier.
Yeah. Did you so when you got out, just for curiosity, because you said you let yourself get a little fluffy.
Oh yeah.
How many pounds did you put on after you got out? Before you decided to change?
Man, I probably went from. I always weighed about 180, 85 in the Army. I think I got to around 250. It wasn't a good one.
Wasn't it good?
No.
So who's the one? Was it your wife the one that told you, hey, listen,
No, she actually never held that over my head
man,
once.
God bless her.
I know. She loved me when I was fat.
Props.
Does me in shape.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, listen, that's a keeper. But when did you make a decision to say, hey man, I got to
It was probably right around mid 2021. I started eating healthier.
Yeah.
Not so much as even thinking about
content,
doing a show or anything like that, but
and you shed 15 right away.
Easy off the bat. Got down from 215 back down to 200s.
Oh,
but
nice.
Was still a little overweight, and then finally we agreed that we were going to do a prep together, and that was tough.
Yeah. Did who's better with the meals? Was she meal prepping for you, or were you?
We both help out.
Both help out.
She makes the rice. She always makes the rice.
Yeah.
No, but no, it would have been her that motivated me to make this change and pursue this a little bit. Like I said, you do it for yourself. I do it for myself, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the body positivity.
Yeah.
I do enjoy it a lot.
And we talk about it like from the medical point of view. The more you stay in shape physically and mentally, I use the expression all the time when I lecture. Nationally, I've lectured nationally and internationally, but how exercise affects your the mind fitness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I've talked to a lot of the wounded warriors and things of that nature along the way too, is anytime we get that endorphin releasing, it decreases the stress, which is cortisol.
Yeah.
Have you found that, what's your feeling? Because I ask people all the time, like, what's your feeling like when you get done that workout? Do you feel that little euphoric feeling? Do you feel that
it's
accomplishment?
It's very therapeutic. I would say it just gives me that personal edge on myself.
Yeah.
That I feel accomplished, and I can take anything else on for the rest of the day. Especially if I get done in the morning.
Right.
What's for the rest of the day?
So, obviously, a lot younger than I am, and you're growing up in a society where, your generation, a lot of times is a little more lackluster.
Yeah.
Now you have kids, not saying at a young age, but not at an older age.
Correct.
When you were growing up, and you've been fortunate, like you said, your dad's a beast. That you had this mentor, if you will, help raise you, because some of the guys in your age group, are not very focused.
No.
I mean, what's your take on your age group? Is 31?
I'm 30.
30. That 30 to 35, 30 to 25 to 40.
I steer clear. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
If you're not goal oriented, having a family, moving in a positive direction, I don't want anything to do with you.
And that goes right back to the concept of this podcast. I got a guy here, across my table, to where that mindset is still that warrior mindset.
And I'm not being disrespectful.
No,
rude
not at all. No.
But that's the truth.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why we're having stuff like this, in my opinion. Having podcasts like this, where I got a guy 30 years old, that's using the term steering clear from a lot of the things in society that doesn't bode well with you, doesn't fit the mold, the box that you're in. You know what I mean? And I think it's going to be guys like you that are going to shape what's going to go on in society in the next 20 years.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But so what would you suggest to people, late 20s to late 30s, like these young guys and gals? I mean, gosh, and within at 30 years old, you deployed twice, you get married, got 2 kids, got a successful career ramping up. What how would you suggest to some of the people that are floundering 25 to 35?
You have to have that structure. You have to find something in your life that's going to give you that structure to build those bottom bases. And I mean, for me, it was the military. Yours is the military, and for a lot of people, it could be the military. But it doesn't have to be the military, though. It does not be at all. It can be anything. But as long as you're being positive and trying to progress and setting realistic goals for yourself and reaching those goals, you can't set unrealistic goals and never reach them.
Yeah.
Because then what are you doing? you're just falling back every year. If you're not going to, the goals have to be realistic. 20 days, 30 days, 40 days, 60 days out, 90-day goal, 180-day goal. You have to. And if you're not reaching those, it's time, look in the mirror.
If you don't take that first step, you're not going anywhere.
Figure it out, because there's no one else to figure it out for you anymore at this point.
That's a really good insight, because, I want this podcast to be something where people on the other side of this desk, give out ideas, because the way our society is going, personally, and you're probably on the same boat, it's just not going in a very good direction. We'll say this just from a broad-based, point of view. But, guys like you that have the perspective that you do, is you stay motivated, get a game plan together. Make sure that you're setting a goal. Make sure you're taking that first step, because if you're not, you're just going to be spinning your wheels, all the time. Mm-hmm.
And you see those people all the time.
Yeah.
Everywhere. It is scary.
Yeah. Do you, where would you say you are? Like, if you were to talk to some of the young kids, like the little kids along the way, they say teenagers, they're not little kids. Would you be a guy that would suggest people into the military right now, or some sort of, not necessarily government service, but like police department, fire department,
trades jobs, everything? Yeah, the PG&E guys, those guys are making bank.
Yeah,
and I've never met one who's unhappy.
Yeah.
My buddy, he owns a cabinet business. Learning an actual trade, something that's going to help you in life, anything like that. There's a lot of people that want to be pro bodybuilders.
Yeah.
That's all they're doing is training people and that kind of stuff. But is that financially stable for the rest of your life? I don't know. I know I couldn't do it. That's something I wouldn't do. Put myself in a pickle like that.
And I think a lot of the trades, that's a really good point, because I think a lot of the trades, and we'll include the military and first responders, that people that don't necessarily feel that, like you and I both were out of high school.
And you don't have you don't have to be a lifer.
No.
Do 3 years.
And what it does is it builds you a foundation.
Try it out. Stick with it, obviously, because there could be lifelong repercussions if you don't make it out.
Yeah.
But just alone some of the benefits you can get that other people can't get.
Well, I think what it does, it again builds structure. Where I think in our society, the way it's going right now, with our school systems that are educating our kids, that structure for the future isn't really there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Trying to buy a home for your first time. Mm-hmm. You can use the VA loan.
Yeah,
I used it. Very thankful for the benefits you can get after the military.
Yeah. It did wonders for me, and it's funny because people ask me all the time, and knowing that I had military service, and they probably come to you too at times. How come you didn't do 20? Well, you're only 30.
Yeah.
I'm past even the 20 years that I would have spent in. But people ask me all the time, hey, how come you didn't do 20 years? Now, the amount of people that actually do 20 years is very small.
Yeah.
People think that everybody does 20 years. More so in like a firefighter or a police officer, because it's technically a job.
Yeah.
Where the military is different because they give you contracts for your service. The police department, fire department, you don't see people getting out of it as easily or as readily.
Correct.
Would you be a guy that would recommend most young guys like to do a 4-year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be Air Force.
Oh, it doesn't. No, as much as
it doesn't matter. It could be anything.
My dad's bigger than your dad.
Yeah, it could be any
team.
branch.
Yeah.
There's people. I don't think people realize though. There's a lot of jobs in the military that aren't armed forces. Not frontline grunts.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
There's
medical, admin, supply,
photography,
maintenance,
everything. Map makers.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many jobs.
Yeah.
Why not try one?
Well, it gears you up, and I think what it does is, again, going back to the name, that warrior mindset, it's people structured.
Exactly.
And things like that. And I think that's one of those things that I would definitely recommend.
I'm sure every boot camp is just about, 16, 20 weeks.
Oh, yeah. They're all about some a little more rougher than others. I guess if you had to put it categories, it'd be probably the Marine Corps, Army, then Navy, then Air Force. Do they have boot camp in Air Force?
Sure they do.
We're just giving the Air Force a hard time. Even the Army will give them a hard time too. But that's the fun stuff too. From in the military too. The camaraderie is there.
Yeah.
What's that expression I've heard before, or the analogies? If you had, an Army guy and say you and I, Army guy and a team guy, we're in a bar and we're having at it. Just for some reason, I drank too much, you drank too much, and we're freaking fisticuffs and whatever. A civilian better not get in the middle of that, because what'll happen is both you and I are going to turn on the civilian. Hey, yo, bro, it's not your fight. Well, I thought you guys. No, man, it's just brotherly love.
Yeah.
But it's like you never try to break up two military. If you're not a military guy, do not try to break up a military fight, because you're going to get turned on by the two military guys, because then they become the brothers again. It's just like sibling rivalry, right?
Yeah.
And you probably more so than I have, because it was when I was in, there was still a lot of separation between branches, where nowadays, things work together. And, whether or not a team guy will get associated with somebody else, an Army guy will get associated with somebody else. Did you see much, did you see pretty good camaraderie amongst the branches when you were in?
No, not much. I mean, I didn't really.
Mainly it was Army?
Yeah, mostly Army.
Yeah. Didn't associate with many other.
No, different units. I mean, so I saw my brother in Afghanistan.
Oh, did?
My first deployment. My company replaced his company. My platoon replaced his platoon.
And you go on C-130s opposite each other?
We were actually in Bagram together for about like 10, 15 days.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so I mean, that was cool. I
Yeah.
mean, that was, you don't always see your brother.
No.
He was a sergeant. I was a PFC.
Yeah. Oh, so he gave you a little rubbing.
He was scoring me away.
He was, yeah.
But
make sure.
We replaced his platoon, and that was cool. I mean, had a handful of lunches and dinners out there with him, and a big base Bagram out there.
Yep. It's its own city.
Yeah, it really was. But it was cool. I mean, that was something I remember forever.
Yeah.
I spent a good week with him.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he's still in.
Yeah.
If you were to sit down with anybody, and sometimes I'll ask people on the other side of my table here, if you had the opportunity to sit down with anybody, living or not living, who would you take an opportunity to talk to?
Tough one.
You can't say your dad because you're too close. You're too close with your dad. You've already gave your dad props, so we'll make sure he gets to see this too. But you gave your dad enough props. We're gonna give if somebody else, like if it was somebody outside family, and you'd love to just sit down with and go and pick somebody's brain, guy, girl, ancient or whatever. Thinking here.
That is tough.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. And I put people,
Yeah, you definitely got me.
Pulled you to the carpet here.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Maybe like.
This is like, what is it, Jeopardy?
Yeah, seriously.
Ding, 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 ding. See, that's good, mate. So that means he's thinking about it. He's not just throwing some name out there.
Yeah, because then I want to know why would I say that name?
Or because bro, that's what's coming next. Is I'm going to ask you why. Yeah, John Wayne. Why? I don't know. I just liked him in the movies. No, you can't do that.
Well, if you didn't say family, I would have said like a great grandfather.
Yeah.
That
Oh, so there's a thing.
Like somebody I've never met. Generations back.
Yeah, but so with that being said, what if you were to go back a couple did you hear any stories from your family to say a couple generations back, so and so grandfather accomplished this?
I know my dad said some of his family that they're from Mexico, Puerto Vallarta, and they got some rich history out there.
Yeah,
but I mean,
it'd be kind of cool to kind of pick their brain.
See
who was it your grandfather that came over?
Yeah,
your grandfather's first over here.
Yeah,
and your dad's first generation.
Yeah.
Oh, he is. Okay. No, that's kind of cool. See, next time I didn't know that about you. Yeah, and that's kind of interesting because then if you were to just say somebody, and that's good. You got a family, great grandfather, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But if there's is there anybody out there? It doesn't have to be anybody out there. You go, man, I just like to just pick that guy's brain. Would it be a movie star, a scientist, an actor? Well, that'd be the same thing. Military guy. Is there anybody you think outside a family member that you could sit down and drink a beer with, if you could?
Everyone loves Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's funny, because it's people ask me all the time about the podcast and stuff. And it's one of those things where, my goal would be to kind of have an interview with him at some point along the way.
Oh yeah.
Because the guy just speaks real.
Yeah,
he does.
And he's super smart.
Yeah, way smarter
Yeah.
than people, way smarter than people give him credit for, man. And I commend the guy a bunch on, you know, his podcast when he speaks his mind. And 99% of the time, I'm kind of on board with the guy's thinking. So, I mean, that's a good one. So maybe the dream will come true, and we'll have him on the show here one of these days down in the future. But hey, listen, as we finish up with this, you know, I just want to thank you again, you know, for joining us on the Warrior Mindset podcast, and your host, Dr. Joe Martin. And you know, I'd love to maybe have you back, you know, at some point too, when those kids are getting bigger. Hey, also too, as we're both prepping for contests coming up. Well, you got about you're bulking for a year, right?
Bulking. I'm gonna keep going until like November.
Yeah, and then go from there. But yeah, I got something coming up in June, a military contest actually. But we'll keep kind of posted, you know, keep each other, you know, posted. We're going to keep working out. You know, he's got a great family, and you know, I loved having you on here today. And once again, bro, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show, and look forward to hearing from you in the future.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hey, listen, once again, this is Dr. Joe Martin, the host of Warrior Mindset Podcast. And we had a great interview today, and I hope you guys like it. And if you do, please definitely like the button below. And I'm going to have to probably say this later because my camera guy is going to make me fix this. But we'll say that one later. Okay. Good. Shake hands. Oh, here we go. Thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.